Hello, my name's Larry Sefton. Welcome to my shop. What I plan on doing for you today is embellishing this particular hollow form. It is Boxelder. I made it about 2 weeks ago. It's nice and dry. I'm going to end up calling this piece Under the Arch because of the pyrography that I plan on doing. The pyrography that I'll be showing you, I will make a particular brand. It'll be a hot wire brand or scorching of the wood. I will show you how I laid that out. I will do the pyrography on it. Then there's going to be a secondary pyrography that will go inside each one of the loops, followed by cleaning it or removing all the ash. We'll then take it and paint it. The paint will probably be a red of some type, and then with a top coat of or more of an antique or glazing finish on top of that is what I plan on doing. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we'll be doing is making the loop brand or the arch brand. The first thing we're going to do is make the brand or the hot wire brand. I'm going to be using 14 gauge nichrome wire. The wire that you should make sure that you get, if you look, this one bends fairly easily. If it doesn't bend easily, you probably should anneal it. Just use a small torch, turn it cherry red, and that'll do it, or put it in something like the Scorcher, turn it cherry red, and let it cool down, and it will bend a lot easier after it's been annealed. I'm going to just cut off a length of this. From experience, I'm just going to cut off about that much of the wire. Then we'll cut off the excess whenever we're done. All I'm going to do is make a simple loop. This is probably one of the simplest brands to make, because all you're going to do now is make a loop. In order to make the loop a specific size so that I know what I'm going to do, I took a bunch of drill bits. I cut the drill bit off, but I use that as my gauge. And in this particular one, I've considered this size right here, which is 5/16. So I'm going to make a 5/16 loop or arch. Just take it and bend it around that arch. And we've now made as you can see, we've made a simple loop. Now the next thing that we need to do is get yourself a piece of steel. This is a jeweler's anvil right here, and put this like right, if you can see it, what I'm going to do is put it right about there. That's about how big I want it. I'm going to clamp it on there with a pair of channel locks. Make sure it's square. And then I'm just going to take a small hammer and bend those over. And why I'm doing it on this metal is because I want those to be quite square, these corners to be real square. If you notice, I didn't beat on it, because if you beat on it too hard, you can actually cut the wire when it's soft. Open it up. And the issue that we have now is that this does not line up, so we're going to have to bend that just a little bit, so it's going to go in the tool or into the branding iron. It's pretty close to being on. We'll just bend that just a little bit. And obviously it's a little bit too long, so all I'm going to do is cut it off. We're going to cut both of them to the same length. When you're cutting this, don't ever cut it towards people, cut it away from it. They will fly, and the metal can fly and hit somebody in the face or in the eye. What I'm going to do now is put it in the branding, into the handpiece, And the reason I'm putting it in the hand piece, we're going to test it and make sure that it works and is the size that we want. This is a smaller hand piece that I use. This is Boxelder. This is the same Boxelder that I'll be using for the hollow form that I had. And I'm just going to test it on there and just do some random testing to make sure that it's going to work the way I want it to and the design is going to work the way I want it to. It's turned on. Let's give it some power. You'll see it turn cherry red here in a minute. Again, this is 14 gauge. I'm going to do this without my smoke extraction, because I'm just going to do a couple. There's what the pattern looks like. And then what I would do, the pattern that I'm thinking of using will be this right here. The whole way around. Now, the next brand that I need to make, and I'm not going to actually make this one for you because it's so simple to make. This would be the other brand. All you can, you'll see that it's elongated right here, and that will turn red the whole way down after it starts heating up, and that way it'll hold the heat better, so you'll be able to just go tap, 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 and do it quite. There we go. And all I'm going to do here is, so next what we're going to do, or I'm going to show you, is the layout, or how I lay it out for the branding. And for that we'll go over to the lathe. What I've done here is just set it up on my lathe. I have a mandrel going through so I can turn it, and all I'm going to do now is put lines on it so that I know approximately where how big these are, so I can put them in nice even rows going across. So the first thing would be to mark the first one, and I'm going to just mark it, and we can just go right down through here and mark them. And now all we do is go ahead and put the lines on. You can see the lines. Now we're ready to start the branding, and we'll do that at the next step. I'm back, and we're set up to start doing the scorching of the wood with the hot wire technique. I have the ventilator going. This particular one is actually venting out to the outside. You'll see that I have glasses on, or sunglasses. That's because whenever it flares quite often, if you do it for more than maybe 15 minutes or so, sometimes you get a little bit of what I would call welder's flash. Because your eyes, as we get older, wants to do this, and you'll end up with dry eye or eyes that are quite itchy. It might look a little funny. I have my feet propped up so that I can lean back and do this. So again, I'm using a Scorcher. I don't know of any other units that will put out the power necessary to make this hot wire. You can make them yourself, or contact me and I can give you some information regarding them. I'm just going to go ahead and start. I typically start at the bottom and work my way up on this. Sometimes I start in the middle and work way up and down. But in this case, I'm going to start right here. And you can see that the smoke going out. And you'll see it flare up. I try and make sure that the top lines up, especially on this first one with the lines. And the top of that arch is always pointing up to the top. And if you look real close, I try and match them up at the bottoms. That's the first branding or scorching of the wood. Next, we're going to put little dots on it for like people under the bridge. If you look real close at this, you can see that it is a brand or hot wire that is basically a real close loop, or I'm going to make dots on this. The first pass of all the scorching of the wood with the hot wire is done. What I'm going to do next is cut off the what I call my holder or my guide. I'll cut this off, and I will do a little more pyrography on the bottom. And then I'm going to be taking a wire brush and wire brushing this and the next step is to dye it, the whole thing inside and out with black India ink. The reason I do that is I like the inside to be black. I've explained this in some of the other videos. I'm back with you. We've left this dry for 2 days, 48 hours, and it's good and dry. And what I'm going to do now, like I told you before, I'm going to put on a red, and the red that I've chosen, I've used this before, is what's called Tucson Red. It's made by General Finishes. And then I'm going to put a top coat on it that is, it's a glaze. It's called Pitch Black. It's glazing effects, and we'll put that on. But we'll put this on first, then we'll let it dry, and then we'll put this on after that. Again, I'm using one of my favorite brushes, which is just a small Deerfoot 3/8" brush. And when I apply this, as I've said in some of the other videos, I don't brush it like I'm painting a wall. I'm more dabbing it in and trying to work it into all the little cracks and crevices and put on a very light coat. Because this is black underneath, you'll get a little bit of that. The black will come through a little bit, and then we'll put the glaze on there. But again, whenever I do this, you can dab it on like this, or you can just I swirl it on, and in this particular case, it's going to probably take maybe 2 to 3 coats, depending on what I want to accomplish with it. So I'm going to just go ahead and put that on, and I just work it in to get it down into the grooves. And it's almost like a dry brush technique. That's really all I do for painting it, and we'll paint the whole thing this method. So you can see what it looks like now. That's with 1 coat of paint on it. And what's nice about doing it this way, you could actually start now and put a 2nd coat on. So we'll now go and do a 2nd coat. Second coats tend to go on a lot easier than the first coat. The first coat usually is just filling up a lot of the little cracks. And you'll see that it builds up a lot faster now. Coat number 4. So as you can see, there's approximately 4 coats of paint on this. And because of the way that I did it, the grooves in there, or the wire burning that I did, shows up in very good detail. If you just slap on the paint, you don't see that detail. A lot of people would probably just leave that go just the way it is right now. It's actually quite nice. It's almost like terracotta. But I do want to put the glazing on it, and I think that will enhance it whenever you finally see that. So I'm going to let this cure overnight and possibly for a couple days, because it's the weekend. So I'm back with you. This is dried for about a total of 12 hours. With a fan on it, good and hard. You want to make sure the surface is good and hard. Now what I'm going to do is use this product here, which is Glazing Effects. It's basically a water-based material. It's kind of a gelled material. I typically use a foam brush on this because I want to get lot on it, and we're going to wipe it off. I'll either use a good paper towel like shop rags, or a cloth rag, depending on what I'm doing. I also keep some water handy because it is water-based. You can actually wipe it back off with water if you get too much on. And I use a foam brush because I want to get it down in real nice and put it on nice and heavy, and literally just kind of slop it on. I'm using a old shirt right now, because this stuff, if you get it on you, it stains pretty heavily. So again, you want to work fairly rapidly, get it on there, and work it down into all the cracks and crevices. Now you just wipe it off real good. What I'm doing now is going back on some places where I wiped too heavily and wiped too much off. And there's what it looks like. That'll dry real nice.